Hi everyone, it's Vale or Books and Tea 58 and I'm here today with my lovely Stitch. Actually is a Tsum Tsum. I don't know if you are familiar with this kind of Disney plushies. They are called Tsum Tsums and they are so cute because they are fluffy and chubby, and I bought this while I was in Paris back in April, and I went to the Disney store. I saw him, he was right in front of me and I had to buy him. So he's gonna be our little companion for this haul because, as you can probably tell, here I have quite a few books which I have gathered together this month, June of 2015, and actually let me count a bit. 1, 2, 3. Three of the books in this haul are for my school. Actually, they are part of my summer homework, and one is in Spanish and two are in French, because these two are the French ones and I have to read them before school starts again in September. And the same thing goes for this one, which is in Spanish. And I also have another one, but it's in my garden right now, sitting on my chair, so I hope next time I will be able to show you it. Anyway, let's start with the books in other languages. And I'm Italian, by the way, if you are new to my channel, and I study English, French and Spanish at school. I am turning 18 this December, and here in Italy we have 5 years of high school, and then we can decide if we want to go work or if we want to continue studying at university. And I finished at the beginning of June my 4th year of high school, and in September I'm gonna start my last year. And so this is a book called La Bicyclette Bleue, oh my goodness, sorry, by Régine Deforge. And from what I read in the back, if you know French, you can stop the video and read. It's a book set during World War II in France, actually, and the protagonist is called Leah, and she is 17, and basically she goes through war and the Nazi occupation and all that really interesting but really sad stuff. So it's quite big and it's also in French, so it will be kind of hard for me to finish it, I think, but I will do my best. And here I have a classic, from what I heard, by Albert Camus, and it's called L'étranger, which basically translated would be The Stranger, but I'm not sure if in English they kept the title. Anyway, this looks really, really sad, and also from what I gathered too, it is sad. It's about death, and oh my goodness, I don't really look forward to reading this book, but I have to, so I guess I will. Then I have the book in Spanish. It's called Cartas Marruecas, Noches Lúgubres by José Cadalso, and this book is actually sorry, I can't talk today. It's divided in two. The first part is Cartas Marruecas and the second one is Noches Lúgubres, and I have to read just the Cartas Marruecas part of this book, which is pretty much 300 pages long, and it's a set of different letters exchanged between some of the characters, and they basically, this is the ugly cover, one of the ugliest covers I've ever seen, and this was €6.95, by the way. I bought them on the internet. This was €6.60, and this was I don't remember. Anyway, I am actually halfway through this and I am kinda enjoying it so far. In these letters, the main characters talk about the Spanish society and costumes, politics, all of things regarding the 17th century Spain, so I am really interested in finishing this book. I hope I will like it. Then, oh my goodness, sorry, that was difficult. I have another book in Spanish, but this isn't for my school. I just found it at a used bookstore for €3.50, which is half of the original price, and from what I read in the back, this book is called Todo Bajo el Cielo by Matilde Asensi, I hope, and it's really big, chunky, and I found this strange thing inside. It's vintage from a dance club, I think, Compañía Española de Baile Flamenco. I don't really know. Anyway, it's a story about a Spanish girl, well actually it's a woman, she's a painter, and she lives in the Paris of the 1920s. She gets the news from China that her husband is dead, and she goes on a journey with her niece, I think, and she goes to China, and a mystery begins, and it's from the back, it's really interesting, so I look forward to reading this. Then I have this book, and I bought all of the books you see here in used bookstores in my area. This is by Agatha Christie, and I don't remember the name in English as well because I cannot check because this is still with the cellophane plastic, but this was €1, and I think it's a bargain because it's new and I like the cover. I've just read a book by her. I will put the name on the screen, and I really liked it, so I think I will enjoy this one as well. Then I have another classic, and this is by Oscar Wilde, and it's The Picture of Dorian Gray, I think. I hope, well, the picture, maybe it's yes, the picture of Dorian Gray. The cover isn't really my favorite again, but it's a classic, and what counts is the story, and the cover isn't really what matters. So I bought this for €1 as well at the used bookstore. It's pretty much in acceptable conditions. The spine is cracked and I ate that, but I guess it's fine. Then I have this book. It's a little bit damaged, but I don't really mind because I really wanted to read it. And this is by Erika Bestenreiner. I don't really know how to pronounce it because I think that's probably German, I'm not sure. But this book is called like this in the original language, and I will put the name on the screen of the version in English. But this is basically a biography of the famous I don't remember the name, sorry. I will put everything on the screen. It's difficult to talk in English about a book in Italian, so I hope you understand. Anyway, she was really beautiful, and she was basically the wife of the Emperor of Austria, I think, and her name was Sissi, so yay. Then I have another classic, and this is by Henry James, and this is Portrait of a Lady, I'm pretty sure. Let me check. La la la. Yes, Portrait of a Lady by Henry James, and this is pretty much good except from this part of the spine, but I really liked the cover with this watercolor painting on it, and it's really a monster of a book, but I have a lot of time this summer, so I'm gonna read it for sure. Then other books which I bought are this one, which is really beautiful in my opinion, because on the cover there is a let me think, it's a painting by Renoir, and it's really pretty. Just look at the lady with the dog, this other lady, the man, and here it had a sticker. I hate when they do that, and I will try with water and alcohol to remove it. Anyway, this is by Susan Vreeland, I don't really know, and it's Luncheon of the Boating Party. I don't really know what this word means, but I will look it up. So yay, this is a monster too, but its conditions are beautiful. And this was €3, and the portrait of a lady was €4 something. And then I have my very first book by Haruki Murakami, and I have to admit that I don't really like this cover at all. I don't know what it is, maybe I don't like it, but it's short. The pages are a bit yellow, but just because it's old. I paid, let me remember, €3.50, I think, half the price. And in English this is called South of the Border, West of the Sun. And yay, I really wanted to read Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami, but I cannot find it for cheap here, so I will wait and look for it. In the meantime, I hope to read this soon so I can get an idea of the author's writing style, and if I like it or not. And then lastly, a book which I am really excited. It's by Alice Munro, sorry. I don't really want to butcher all these people's names, but I don't know how to pronounce them. So this is The View from Castle Rock, and this book won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2013, as it says here in Italian. And this is the cover. There is this young boy sitting on a piece of wood looking at the sea, and I just read the synopsis in the back, and it's set in Scotland, Edinburgh, and Canada. So it's basically a book with some parts of the author's biography, and it's really interesting in my opinion, and I think that I'm gonna pick this book up right away after I finish this video, because I love Scotland and I love Edinburgh, and everything about it, I have to read it. So yay, this book was €3, and that concludes my haul for, well, actually I forgot, sorry, I have one more book here because I finished reading it last night, and it's basically a collection of poems, love poems by Federico Garcia Lorca. I read during my Spanish class a few of his works, which were in my anthology, and I saw this in the used bookstore for €3, and I decided to pick it up. I finished this in one sitting. It's really a good book if you like his poetry. It's about love, but also death and sometimes passion. So yay. One of my my wishes for this year was to read more poetry, because I like writing poems. I just recently won a poetry contest at my school, so I'm really into that at the moment, and yay, I'm so excited to read more poetry. And tomorrow I'm gonna go book shopping with one of my best friends. Well, in theory I shouldn't buy any more books because I don't know where to put them, but maybe I will, so stay tuned for another little, I hope, book haul really soon. Have a nice day and bye. Hi everyone, as I told you yesterday, which was the day when I filmed the previous part of this haul, Today I went out with one of my best friends, and we basically went to two different bookstores in our city center, and I bought 4 books, and in my defense I have to say that one is for well, I have to read it for my school. It's part of my summer homework, and the other one is poetry, and I like this genre. I just started reading books about poems, well, poetry books. I really like them, and I wanted to try something else besides the ones I have already read. So, yep. And then the other 2 books which you see there are just books I bought because I wanted to. So, yay, let's start here by Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. I hope I pronounced the name of the author correctly. So this is the cover, and I kinda like it. Here you see my messy night table. Anyway, so this is the book. It's pretty thin, and I went to this particular bookstore which sells reminders or books which come from other bigger bookstores, and they maybe are out of production or out of stock, so they have them there, just a few copies per book. So if you find them, you have to grab them because you are not sure, maybe the day after you won't be able to find them again. So I paid €2.90 for this book, and it's brand new, and I really like it. I just finished reading Around the World. Sorry, I can't talk today. Around the World in 80 Days, and I really loved it. It's now one of my favorite classics, and I want to read more from the author. Then let's go with this one. This is the poetry book I talked to you about, and I told you about, sorry. This is by an author called Pablo Neruda, and yep, I like the cover. It's really shiny, and it's in this beautiful teal color, and this was €2.90 as well, and it's brand new, of course. And this is a collection of poems. There is also a fabric bookmark, and yep, there are poems and poems and poems and more poems. And yep, I can't wait to read this because recently I've been loving poetry, and I just simply can't wait. So these were bargains, completely bargains. Complete bargains. Then I bought another classic, and this is a monster of a book, and I have to read this book for school. It was €3.90, and it's really soft. I don't know if you can tell, but it's kind of squishy and really soft. Hear the noise. It's really soft, and I like this edition because one, it's cheap, and two, this series of classics made by this Italian editor, this Italian company, has images of the author, who in this case is Stendhal, in the front, and they are like cartoony and really funny. This is The Red and the Black by Stendhal, and yep, it's really huge, and the font isn't really that big, so oh my gosh. Then I bought this book, and a little disclaimer, I haven't read a middle grade book in a really long time. Actually, I read the last one when I finished my middle school, so yeah. But a month ago or so, I read Wonder by R.J. Palacio, and I think that book is not just a middle grade book, but it's also a book for everyone. And since I think that everyone should read what he wants or what she wants, and even if I am turning 18 this December, I decided to pick up this book, which is meant for young readers, well, middle grade readers. This was €4.90, and it's part of a series, and only the first book costs €4.90. The others are more expensive, but this, I was really captivated by this book. Then just the cover is beautiful. It's by Irene Adler, which I don't know if you are familiar. I keep saying which instead of who. Sorry. Irene Adler was a fictional, I'm not sure, I think so, fictional character made by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle while he was writing a Sherlock Holmes novel, and actually this isn't the real author. It's just a name which stands by the real author, who's an Italian guy, and I don't really know if this book has been translated in English yet, but the cover is beautiful, and basically it's a story set in the past when Sherlock, Lupin and Irene Adler meet, and they are young kids and they start to solve mysteries together. And I love Sherlock. I read about Irene in one of Sherlock Holmes' books, but I just watched when I was little the Lupin manga or anime on TV. So yeah, I'm really excited because the plot seems really interesting, and it's really short. And look at the sorry, I can talk. At the end pages, aren't they beautiful? I mean, they look vintage. Aren't they awesome? And yeah, this is the back. And it looks like an antique magazine or journal, periodical. And this is the inside. And yes, this is the other page. So last thing, because this video is already too long, in the bookstore where I bought the poetry book and the Jules Verne book, they gave me for free this beautiful bookmark of a painting by Sandro Botticelli, which is, oh my goodness, I keep saying who is a famous Italian painter of the Renaissance. So yay, this is part of the birth of Venus. So yay. Thanks for watching.